What's up, world? I'm Sade, and we are back for my Astro Series segment. And today we are going into the lovely ninth sign, which is Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius, it is masculine, it is the last fire sign. So, first is Aries, next is Leo, and then we have finally Sagittarius, and it is a mutable fire element. Mutable meaning adjusting to the ebbs and flows and changes around us. Masculine being very direct with energy, and fire being expansive, being expressive about how one feels and being direct about that expression. And because Sagittarius is the last fire sign, it's also about inspiration. So we just left the eighth house and the eighth zodiac sign of Scorpio. And we remember that Scorpio was about deep desires, intimacy, and it was a fixed sign, fixed house. It's also about death and transformation. Now we lead into Sagittarius, which is a new beginning. What happens after we go through that experience of death and we are rebirthed into a new world? Sagittarius now comes out and says, I need to explore this world so that I can find meaning to my life. Sagittarius energy is all about what is the purpose? What is my why? Why am I here? And if you think about it, Sagittarius is the ninth sign, and the opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini. And we went over Gemini being ruled by Mercury, Sagittarius being ruled by Jupiter. Gemini was all about how do I make sense of the environment around me, the people around me, the environment around me. Sagittarius now comes and says, what is the deeper meaning of the world around me? So if Gemini likes to stay local in their community and learn new things, maybe in a classroom, maybe through books, Sagittarius goes out into the world. Sagittarius wants to travel and physically see what's happening in this other country and what is that deeper meaning. Sages are ruled by Jupiter, and I will dive deeper into the planet of Jupiter in our next segment, but Jupiter is the planet of luck, wisdom, and expansion. So wherever you have Jupiter or Sagittarius in your chart, it will signify philosophy and where you might want to find deeper meaning and study of something. Sages are known as being the guru, the teacher, because they find that wisdom through their life experience and then they teach it back to people. And because Sages are known as being the teachers, they're also the student. They're the student of life. Sages get this rep of really being the wanderer, but they're never lost. And the reason why they're never lost is because they understand the underlinings of the universe. They understand that I may not have all the details, right? Mercury, being Gemini's ruler, the opposite of Sag, needs to know the small, tiny details. Sag says, I don't need to know all the details to know and have faith that there is a higher power that is mapping everything out. All I can do is what I can do and just believe in that power. And that's another aspect of Jupiter, having faith in a higher being, a higher calling. Even if you may not mentally be able to understand it, Sag being that fire, it's felt. I feel that there is support around me from a higher power. Sages are the rulers of traveling. They love to sometimes escape to different parts of the world to find what could this new adventure really show about me? What can this open up within me so I can add more meaning and philosophy to my life? And just to meet new people. Sages are so social, and being that fire energy, they're very giving. They're very giving, very expressive, very giving, and they're very honest. That is something that if you have any Sag people in your life, they are so honest. And the reason being is, they are the opposite of Gemini. Gemini being Mercury based, communication. Sag now being that fire, doesn't have a lot of boundaries on their communication. So if you ask a Sag for their opinion, they're gonna give you the honest truth. And the reason being is Sagittarius is all about finding truth and purpose. So because that's really the core of their energy center, then they're not going to tell you a false lie, which sometimes can hurt a lot more people's feelings than winning more bees with honey than vinegar. The symbol of Sagittarius is the half man, half horse, also known as the centaur. And it's really the arrow pointing to the direction. Sag is being masculine, direct, pointing to where I'm going. The bottom half of the centaur body, being the horse, is charging towards that direction. So that's what you can really get from the centaur, is the arrow pointing towards direction, seeking truth, seeking knowledge. Wherever that arrow leads me to, that's where I'm supposed to go. Because Sages really do believe that everything has a purpose, everything has a deeper meaning. And things that they experience in life, they're not really ones to be woe is me people. They take the experience that they get and they find the deeper meaning as to what that experience might try to teach them. Sages prefer to engage in conversation and people that they deem as teachable, that they deem as being a mentor. They're not the type of energy to participate in activities that don't have meaning for them. So if you remember from the Gemini video, Geminis love to communicate with everybody. They can find a conversation about anything with anyone. Sag is more so like, what's the purpose of this conversation? Like, are we really talking about anything? Is it something that I believe in? If I don't really believe in it or care about it, I'm not really going to engage my time into it because it's just chitter chatter. And that aspect of Sag energy can kind of come across as being a little, ego isn't the word, but very pompous. Just the notion and the idea of they are very intellectual and very smart and prefer to engage in conversations that strike that intellect and engage with people that strike that intellect. So if they don't really care to have conversation or hang out, they're not going to go out of their way to do that. And them being a masculine fire sign, it is what it is for them. Sagittarius having that mutable aspect as well as being a fire sign, they could be pretty explosive about how they feel, and then a few minutes later they're over it. And it's really because fire, they feel everything and they believe in their truth so much. And when it's mutable, sometimes you don't know when you're ticking them off, but you'll know when you're taking them off because they'll tell you, and then a few minutes later they're over it. So really with Sag energy, getting into a debate with a Sagittarius is really just kind of like, they believe in what they believe in, they know their truth for themselves, it works for them because they witness it through their life experience. So debating with them is just kind of like, they're not stubborn, but they believe in what they believe in and they have enough fire to back that belief up. If you annoy them or trigger them to the point of reaction, they will react because they are mutable. Their moods can kind of shift and change, and they're fire. So they're very direct and explosive about how they feel, especially if you annoy them and bother them or continue to debate with them on something that they really don't care about or don't believe in. The part of the body that Sagittarius rules is the hips and the thighs. And this can be best understood because of the centaur, the horse. So the hips and the thighs are what really pushes us forward. Sagittarius energy is not about staying still. It's not about staying stagnant. It's about moving forward towards a new beginning, a new understanding, a new goal, and keep on treading until you reach that destination. Now, there's a few astrologers that believe that Sagittarius rules the sacral chakra. I personally don't believe that. Me being a Sag North Node, I don't believe that. I believe that Sagittarius rules the third eye chakra. And the reason I believe that is because Sag is all about tapping into the universal knowledge to see the truth, right? And sometimes the truth can't always be seen with the two eyes. You just have to tap into that inner guidance, that inner knowing, trusting that there's a divine order around you. And when you trust in that divine order, then you'll be able to see the truth and the direction of where you need to be heading. So personally, I believe that Sagittarius rules the sixth chakra. Not sure if that matters to anyone, but that's just my belief. Something that we can all really learn from Sagittarius energy is Sages are super, super optimistic, enthusiastic, and they really love to travel find adventure and just explore life. They're not woe is me people. They're not, down in the dumps. And if you do meet a Sagittarius who is down in the dumps, their highs are really high and their lows are pretty low because they are ruled by that Jupiterian aspect of expansion and making everything grander and bigger. If they are feeling that deep sadness and loss of direction, they won't feel like that for long. They are people that like to just have a zest for life. They like to enjoy life, and they really like to teach and meet people along the way about their life experiences and how that can possibly be of benefit to them. Sag is all about bringing people to a higher level of consciousness and enlightenment. Their job really on this planet or in the astrological system is to guide people to a higher level of consciousness. Not everything can be understood in a book. Not everything can be understood through a television, right? Sometimes you have to trust in a higher power and seek things out for yourself. Seek opportunities out for yourself and be the adventurer of your life. Now, something that Sagittarius can work a little bit more on is kind of having a deeper understanding of their emotions. This is not really an emotional sign. This is more so of a sign that kind of moves through the feeling or moves with the feeling instead of moving through the feeling and taking time to nurture the emotions within themselves. Because they just really like to be on the go, they're not ones to really kind of sit and simmer in the emotional process and makeup. Another thing that Sagittarius can really work a lot on is because Jupiter has this idea of wanting to learn, wanting to grow, wanting to expand. Sometimes this expansion and travel can be a form of escapism. And Sagittarius are so known for wanting to escape reality in a sense to find a new form of reality, a new way of thinking, and a new way of living. And though that isn't bad necessarily, but there has to be a bit more balance between dealing with the reality at hand, staying put, being patient, being steadfast, and on the other end, buying that plane ticket and booking it to a whole nother country, a whole nother planet, in a whole different realm of reality. Because they have this aspect of needing to be on the go, they don't really feel too comfortable in things that are a little bit stagnant. They're not a stagnant sign at all. So a lot of this travel and needing to escape could really be a downfall for Sagittarius energy if they don't have a little bit more boundaries and balance with that aspect. Sagittarius is the ruler of the ninth house. I will dive deeper into that in the next segment. Ninth house is about where we can find philosophy, higher levels of learning, as well as travel and expansion. All right, peeps, that's all we have for today for the lovely sign of Sagittarius. Remember, Sag is mutable, masculine. It is the last fire sign, and it is the ruler of the ninth house. My name is Sade, and stay tuned for our next segment where we will dive deeper into the planet Jupiter, which is the ruler of Sagittarius, as well as the ninth house.